Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, August 2018, with the theme Courage to Change. Hello everyone. Before we start, I'd of course like to thank all my continued support for my Patreons and donations. It is absolutely amazing and humbling to see all the efforts there. Thank you. I apologize for the slight delay, by the way. YouTube was being difficult. Now, as for some news, as many of you should know, I will be in Belgium in September. I will be in Wales in November, and I am running bi-monthly meetups in Amsterdam now. Information about this is on hypno.nimja.com/live. Now, of course, as many of you know, I am not able to chat because the microphone is more important. And the recording will be available on the site, with the background music and maybe some cutting if needed. And of course, I welcome both the familiar faces and some new ones. Apparently, there are several people who made it here for the first time in a while. And remember, if you have any questions, please wait with those until after the trance. And during the trance, please respect that people would like to participate in it and keep chatting to a minimum. Now, today's subject is a very simple and yet complex one. The courage to change. Now, before we dive into it too deeply, I'd like to hear what you have to say about the courage to change. Let's see. Scary but worth it. Changing perspective. Change is good but scary. Courage to change only limited in my ability to love and accept myself. Oh, I'm sorry. But you will. About making mistakes. Needing support. And someone said, I can never change, I cannot control that. Actually, you are the only person who can control if you change or not. Stepping out of comfort zones. What is familiar? How to motivate yourself. Well, I don't think this is a motivation video, but hello. it seems like we have an unexpected famous person as well. Hello, Fiona Clearwater. I am not entirely surprised. Accepting uncertainty. I like that one. At least this time you gave a little bit of a warning, so you didn't take me by surprise like last time. I still remember that, you know. Now, the recognition of when you need to change is slightly different. That is a different part of the triangle. And I will be talking about the triangle. The wisdom to change, the patience to accept. The courage to change, the patience to accept, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, let's see. What else? What parts of yourself would you want to change? Everything, apathy, procrastination, anorexia. Now, don't just look at what you're writing yourself, look at what other people are writing too. You might not be surprised to find that other people have similar desires to change something as you do. Now, considering the types of files that I make, I don't think that being dirty-minded is something you need to change that much, as long as it doesn't harm anyone. Indeed, as they say, a dirty mind is a joy forever. And humiliation, yes. Now, as many of you know, the lives follow a structure of kinky and non-kinky alternating, gentle and kinky. And today is a gentle theme. Today we will speak about positive things. And a very important thing when you're trying to change something is to look at the positive things. I will write down how to start, because that might be a very interesting way to approach that. Now, today is not just about a specific change. I have files related to anxiety, for example. So you can listen to that if you want. Now, soon we will begin. I hope that to help you begin, you are in a comfortable place. Let us see. Aw, my notes are falling over. That's not very nice. Always a little bit of improvisation, which is fun. All right. Now, it is an interesting question if doing these helps me. I am not sure, as they are more about things that I've done or like sharing part of my journey or part of journeys that I've listened to, rather than things that I still aspire to do. It would be more difficult to talk about something that I aspire to do, although changing is something that you should try to do your whole life, to improve, to learn, to grow. Trying to get smarter every day. Now, for those of you curious, and if you're new, everything that we're doing is live. I haven't made the script to follow that I read, so everything that you're about to hear is improvised. All right, everyone, try to get ready. Get yourself in a comfortable position. And remember that listening to this is, of course, best with headphones on. Are you all ready? And remember, please remain quiet during the trance, even if you don't go into trance yourself. Very good. Nice to see you already. Let's begin. Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Nimja Live, Courage to Change. Now, the courage to change is part of 3. The courage to change, the patience to accept, and the wisdom to know the difference. It is not easy to try and teach you any of these, let alone all 3. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Please, close your eyes. And let me take you back in time, a long, long time ago, when I was younger and still in school. The days in school weren't easy. Oh, the school itself was fine. I highly enjoy learning, and getting challenged by new knowledge was always a pleasure. No, it was the people. I didn't click very well with most people, and because I try to avoid violence, I was often picked upon and bullied. As far as they could get away with without me actually retaliating. It's not even that I'm weak or small, but just I didn't belong to the group. And because I did not belong, they chose me as a target. This continued for many, many years, and I wasn't sure how to change it. I thought I was smart enough to find out the right way to act, the right things to say to get them to stop. Sometimes I did respond physically when I was given little to no other choice, and it helped sometimes. But it didn't actually change the acceptance of others towards me. It wasn't that I was that strange or even that far out there. I just didn't fit in. And this feeling of not fitting in continued for a very long time. Because I did not succeed in changing it while I was still in school, it continued into high school and beyond. I continued not fitting in and thinking that I had to accept that that is how I was. That I simply had to accept that, well, I cannot change everyone else in the world, and apparently I can change myself in the right way. So I'll just have to accept the situation, keep my head down, try not to draw too much attention. It took me a very, very long time to realize that I was wrong. After school, when I started working, I still had a similar problem. I'm a hard worker. I do my best. I reach deadlines, and yet people were unhappy with me. Not because of my work, but because of how I behaved. I had to talk with people, get feedback from those that were both above and next to me, and try to see what I was doing wrong, recognize what parts I could change. This ties a little bit into slowly over time getting the wisdom to change. But that is not what today is about. Today is about the courage to change. Because change does require courage. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. And you have to remember the goal, the thing you want to change, the person you want to become. Becoming who I am now, growing into how I behave now, wasn't a single moment. It wasn't one day, 1 year, even 10 years. It was a slow process, a process where there were ups and downs, where sometimes I pleased people with my behavior and other times, not so much. Friction with colleagues could still sometimes return. But that was okay, because as I took a step back, I realized that I was slowly getting better. Changing yourself isn't a switch you can just throw over. Even a hypnotist cannot just tell you to be different, because a suggestion would only last a short while. The thing that a hypnotist could help you with is perhaps try to find the source of what you want to change, the source of your fears or anxieties. Change is valuable. Change is necessary to live, to grow, to become better. Change is needed to find the people that you want to be with. Find new people or reconnect with old people in a different way. Change is a goal worth fighting for. And for that, sometimes you need to remember that no matter how long it takes, and no matter the ups and downs, that the change itself, your goal, your desire to become better, to grow different, that will be worth it. Now you've listened to me ramble on for a little bit, so I will actually start putting you in a trance. By now you're very used to the sound of my voice and you've heard some of the different emotions. And please know that no matter what you want to change, you're not alone. It is you that has to do the change. Nobody else can change you for you. But you're not alone. Others can help you with your change. Both professionals and friends, and even people that inspire you or lead by example, can help you change. When you see others overcoming their fears, it wasn't easy for them. It wasn't simply a matter of just deciding one day that, well, they're done now. No. They too had a long way to go, one way or the other. And that makes it all the more powerful and all the more valuable. So take a deep breath and take a moment to accept that change isn't always easy. In fact, it often becomes more difficult by how much it is worth. But it's okay to take a moment of rest. It's okay to take a moment for yourself, to just enjoy and see that you have changed over time. That you are not the same person you were a year ago. The courage to change is looking at the past and the future. So listen and relax for a moment. Allow yourself to open for these words so that you will have the courage to change. All you need to have that courage is the certainty that you will, and with the intention that you will change. And change happens all the time. When you taste something new, your opinion on what you tasted before may change. When you see something unusual, it might put something you know in a different light. When you listen to something that makes you smile or makes you cry, it helps you change. It helps you become better. And it can go up or down sometimes. Allow that to happen. flow of your mind is a beautiful thing. Even if you have difficulty seeing yourself, your mind is a complex, beautiful machine. It is an organism that sparkles in the light. It is something that is just you. Only you know what happens in your mind. It might take you a little while to find out sometimes. But you can relax for a moment, listening, letting yourself enjoy the thoughts, the fading, the sounds, the feelings. From heaviness to light, from sound to sight, you can relax, your body and mind flowing, falling. And that's okay. You can enjoy the moment in all its rest and follow me as I take you into a calmer place. Life is not a straight road. It is a long journey where you have to find your way, a maze sometimes. You might take the wrong street every now and then, end up at a dead end, or even go into the wrong direction sometimes. But you can choose to find the right one. You can ask for directions. You can find people who help you on your way. And you can choose. Everything that you are, you can change if you want. The amount of influence you have over it may differ, and physical things may not always be easy to overcome. But you can change. And when you just give yourself a chance to change, you can allow that chance to grow, flourish, and blossom into something new. And I'm going to tell you one other story, actually also from a time long, long ago. It might not seem relevant, but it is. It is about the first time I played a game. It was Super Mario. And in that game, the goal is easy. Get to the princess, save the princess. But the first time I played the game, I didn't make it. Not even close. I didn't even make it to the end of the first level. Second time, a bit better. Third time, more and more. And the funny thing is, I never focused on the mistakes I made or the failures that happened. I learned from every mistake. I learned where to jump, where to run, what to avoid. I learned to improve with every failure. And eventually, after quite a while, I made it to the end and defeated Bowser. Life is like this very much. When you want to achieve something, when you want to change, it doesn't always come easy. And if you could change easily, you already would have. So focus on the goal. Keep your eyes on the goal, not the pits in which you fell or the fireballs that interrupted you. Allow yourself to focus on the goal and learn from the things that go wrong. When you fall, not only should you get back up, you should look at what made you trip, why you tripped, and if you can avoid it in the future. And I don't think I know a single person that learns everything in their first go. I don't think I know anyone that doesn't make the same mistake twice. In fact, most people make the same mistake a few times before they really get further. Allow yourself to change. And the more you focus on this, the more you will gather the courage to change. The more you will let yourself change. You did not learn to walk in one day. You did not learn to speak or write in a single day. Change takes time. And the more you accept that, the more courage you will have to start changing and to continue on until you reach your goal. And of course, as soon as you reach one goal, set yourself another. Continue to change and improve. Grow and flourish. And when you look back at yourself, allow yourself some pride that you chose to change. Allow yourself forgiveness for the mistakes that you made on the road to change. If you are here because you want to change, if you're still listening, because change is something that you want to do, then you have the courage. You can do it. Now, in a moment, I'm going to count up again. And when I count up, you'll awaken easily. And you can carry these thoughts with you if you want. The courage to change and learn from mistakes. 1, 2, slowly waking. 3, 4, more aware. 5, 6, almost there. 7, 8, almost awake. And 9, 10, wake. And I look forward to see you change. Whew. Let me see. All right. Now, I've done my best to include quite a lot of the suggestions, not all of them. One of the important things is to try to, like when you're trying to do anything positive, it's important to not go into too many negative things. Whew. All right. We can start the Q&A. I will actually answer a newcomer that stepped in the middle of the trance and was patient enough to look at what's happening. Hello, Sarah. I am Nimja and I make hypnosis. And I was talking about Super Mario because I was also talking about change. Anna Monoholm asks, improvising means learning? Well, to improvise, you need to practice a lot and learn from your mistakes. Especially because if you try to improvise, it can and will go wrong quite a bit. For those of you curious, the first Mario I played was Super Mario 3 on the NES. Lil Oreo Pop asks, what's the strangest thing that someone has changed you into through fan art? There is a beautiful bit of fan art of me into a snake. And there's a variation of that one that is adorable. Becca Rose asks, would you ever think about becoming a hypnotherapist? No. I do not want to be a hypnotherapist or a psychiatrist because, well, first of all, I would need several years more of study, and I wouldn't want to do that full time. I don't know if I could take that. Being a psychiatrist or a therapist is very hard work. Renee asks, is it possible, while reading a story about someone getting hypnotized, that you yourself become hypnotized and follow the commands within the story? Yes, it is. It depends a bit on how you read it. Rihanna Kelder asks, what are some things that sound like compliments but are actually insults? There was a beautiful example on Dilber.com once upon a time. The funniest one that I saw of the compliments that are actually insults is, you'll be happy to get him to work for you. Fen asks, what is your best, worst insult? I generally don't do serious insults. Sarah asks, do you come from the Netherlands? Yes, I am Dutch. Casey Edwards asks, what made you decide to start hypnosis? Well, I've been doing hypnosis for many years before I even started the audio files. Sparkly Ember asks, are you not wearing your usual Nimja t-shirts today? Yes, I am. Bogdan the Lurker asks, how about the opposite? What's an insult that sounds more like a compliment? I think I just answered that, but let me see if I can think of a personal one. I don't think anyone else could have done it quite like you. Mixed Blood asks, do you plan on doing a rambling trans file? I think I sort of did with the conversational inductions. TT Dame asks, like, you asked if I could be a psychiatrist, but I actually answered that question before. I am not going to reply to every comment, but I will try to read almost every question. I'm sorry if I miss one. Anna asks, can you ever be a tentacle? I think I sort of have one where I am the tentacle, but I'm not sure. Lady Shats asks, why is it when I think positive I get it? Well, I'm apparently not thinking positive enough because I don't get it. Sarah asks, hoi, hoe gaat het? Goed, ik ben bezig met Nimja Live. Lil Oreo asks, have you checked out Be More Chill the musical yet? No, I haven't had that much time. Oh yeah, good point actually. For the person who asked about the rambling, I also have a fast talking live. Carla Ray asks, how do you come up with the ideas for your visuals? Anywhere, just like the files. Sometimes I get inspired by specific things. Sometimes I want to have something else, like it just varies. Mixed Blood asks, what is the favorite file you recorded? They ask me this. I don't have a simple answer. It varies. Anna, can you try and ask the question in a different way, because I still don't get it. Lizzie asks, what do you do to get the creative juices flowing when you need file ideas? Well, I actually write down all the file ideas that people give me, plus the ones I come up with on my own. Currently, I still have about 245 things to go. And generally, when you think more positive, it helps. TT Dame asks, do you memorize the things you tell us? I mean, when I hypnotize us? No, I improvise it on the spot. Lil Oreo asks, what is your before performance ritual before you do a workshop? Basically, I take a moment for myself. It helps. Fan asks, do you think your hypnotist ideas list will ever become longer than your Steam library? Well, I hope not. I try to also work them away again. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Lil Oreo says, did you know Sherlock Holmes is on the copyright-free thing, as in it's now public domain? Would you do a Sherlock Holmes-inspired induction? Maybe. Both Sherlock Holmes and Alice in Wonderland are apparently public domain. I will consider this. Renee asks, Pepsi or Coke? Water. Come on, be healthy. Illusions Everywhere asks, what is a dream you have that you want to become true? Touring the States. Carla Ray asks, any chance that you might make a short loopable file to drop us deeper as a pre-induction file? I sort of have that. Also, it would be post-induction. Just look for the feature deepener. Fen asks, what is your favorite water? Tap water. In the Netherlands, tap water is quite tasty and healthy. Deanne asks, have you ever been to America? Not yet, and I have a rough plan. Crazy Claire asks, have you ever had dehydrated water? Yes, I breathe it every day. TT Dame asks, how do you deal with someone trying to embarrass you? It depends. Ignore them, like point it out that they're trying, or yeah, depends. Luna asks, will you ever write short stories again? Probably at some point, but I'm quite busy with everything. Lady Schatz asks, is it good to have an ambition? Yes, it is good to have a goal, and an ambition counts as that. Anna Mainholm says, you're so adventurous. Add mint leaves and a twist of lime in your water. It's technically not a question. I actually like my water without anything. And sometimes I take water with some like fruits or vegetables in it. It can be tasty. Alfred F. Jones asks, very interesting question. If filming is allowed at a venue hosting a workshop, do you have a problem with people recording you? What am I doing right now? I think I'd be okay with it. Bogdan the Lurker asks, would you consider doing a genie or a djinn file? It's on my to-do list. Other than water, what is your favorite thing to add to your water to spice it up? Tea, specifically herbal tea. One of my favorites is Star Mix. Elena asks, who are some hypnotists that you look up to or learn from? Well, I learned from quite a few, and I don't really look up to any specific hypnotist, although I have a lot of respect for Dave Ellman, and mostly because he tried to approach it from an incredibly scientific perspective. Becca Rose asks, can you do more Brady files? Maybe. Carla Ray asks, tea or coffee? I do not drink coffee. TT Dame asks, I have a problem accepting growing up. What do you advise me? You have to accept it. It will happen. Little Oreo Pup asks, can we see your handwriting? No. Lady Shat asks, have you ever wanted to join the army? No, I'm not particularly keen on violence or obeying people. Elskill asks, what is one of your favorite innovations you've seen in video games in the last decade? Well, physics are technically before the last decade. I would say the graphical improvements. And AI to a degree. Like, generative games are more easy now. Bogdan asks, will you ever do more harem files? Probably, yeah. Jays Mero asks, Elman knows the neurophysiology too. Are you familiar with the neurophysiology of hypnosis? Damn, that is a good word for Scrabble. Or Hangman. Not as much as him. Well, definitely not. Crazy Claire asks, Skyrim or Fallout? I don't know. Both have their nice things. Anjime asks, how old is too old to enjoy your files? Dead. Like, I don't think there isn't too old otherwise. There's a too young, but that has more to do with the nature of a lot of my files. But there isn't a too old. Lady Shuts, I am sorry, I am not going to go into politics. TT Dame asks, what is your phobia? I don't think I have any strong phobias. Sarah asks, I hope you're not upset with me because I interrupted. Well, I don't think you interrupted intentionally. You're welcome to be here. Sarah Puppy asks, if you could have a cup from any video game you want, which one would you have? A cup? As in, like, to drink tea from? I have my ideal cup already. And I don't think you can buy it anymore. It's from Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's basically Jack Skellington's head. It's pretty awesome. Deanna Winchester asks, when you were growing up, what was your favorite thing to do? Well, this, of course, heavily depends on when. Gaming, programming, playing with Lego, climbing trees, exploring. Standard boy stuff. Sparkly Amber asks, have you seen The Incredibles 2 yet? And if so, what did you make of it? Well, it seems someone has not realized the significance of the latest visual. Alfred F. Jones asks, what is your opinion on age gaps in relationships? That is up to people themselves. If they are, when they're both over 18, sorry. That is up to themselves. They are consenting adults. Little Oreo asks, have you unintentionally put someone in a trance in public? No, I am experienced enough with hypnosis to know that how to not do it unintentionally. Becca Rose asks, could you do a file of overcoming the fear of spiders? I already did. It is 2 lives ago and it's called Face Your Fears. MTMK5 asks, how long should you train on an induction file? Well, ideally you should use different induction files because variations would help. Arabelle asks, do you have any other Nightmare Before Christmas merch? I think I have a special edition DVD. Not that it's very useful anymore, because DVDs are also old now. Rihanna asks, have you ever sent a text to the wrong person? If so, how did she react? Of course I have. It would have been impressed if I hadn't, considering how many people I talked to over the years. But yeah, the reaction was normal. Some confusion, some amusement. Elskill asks, if you could take a vacation to any imaginary world, which would you choose? Ah, that's a difficult question. I don't know. See, one of my thoughts would be Little Big Planet, but then I realized that he dies a lot. Well, like, explodes, or I don't know. Just Sui asks, can you plant math knowledge in my head? I'm sorry, you'll have to learn that. Alfred F. Jones asks, have you ever had a dream where you were hypnotizing someone? I think so, but it doesn't happen very often. Fiona Clearwater asks, what is your favorite song from Nightmare Before Christmas? My favorite song. That is a tough one. Most of the songs are pretty good. I think Jack Skellington's Lament is quite powerful. So maybe that one. I, Jack the Pumpkin King. Luna asks, what is your favorite type of bondage? Rope. Although I must say, bondage tape, which is a little bit like cling film, but more strong, is quite interesting. Becca Rose asks, do you have any pets? No animal ones. Aileen asks, do you play any musical instruments? I play a bit of piano and guitar, but really only a bit. And keyboard. Mixed Blood asks, I'm going to start college soon. Any advice? Don't drink, work hard, focus on school. Crazy Claire asks, favorite Broadway musical? Everyone has AIDS, AIDS. Lucy Greenberg asks, how long have you been doing hypnosis? 19 years. Bogdan the Lurker asks, can you do psychotic laughter? So that's not evil, that's psychotic. Let's see. I hope that wasn't too loud. See, usually people ask me for evil laughter, which would be like... See, the evil laughter is much better. I will defeat Captain Hammer. Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist would be more like I will take over the world. Ha 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 ha. Alfred F. Jones asks, do you have to warm up your voice before you record files, or can you just switch between tones with little efforts? I think I just answered that question. Flights of Whimsy asks, how go the plans for world domination? Who told you? Yeah, I think my psychotic laugh was almost Skeletor-like. Fen asks, why are so many things named after the Dutch? Actually, it's because despite the size of our country, we have been quite influential over history, partly because we are unscrupulous bastards when it comes to trading. The Netherlands, the history of the Netherlands is not a very nice one if you actually look into it. It's just one where we're like, well, we can earn money with it, so why not? And Gmod Fanatic asks, I've been complimented on my voice by numerous people, but I wanted to ask, what should I focus on in terms of vocals if I want to start becoming a tist myself? Ask for feedback. Just do sessions with people and ask it. Potentially unaffiliated asks, could you do your best, Luigi? Wah! And indeed, something something Dutch East India Trading Company. Anna Maunenholm asks, have you ever taken someone's virginity via erotic hypnosis? Well, to take someone's virginity, you would still need to physically be there. Mixed Blood asks, do the snake voice. Eva Miskolci, I'm not sure, asks, have you ever considered working as a voice actor? You would be awesome. No, I wouldn't. I am not trained as a voice actor. I am an amateur at best. There is a interview about the guy who did the voices of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and I forgot what the name is, to my great shame. But that is a voice actor. Also Mark Hamill. Mel Blanc, of course. And Mark Hamill, who I didn't connect to being both Luke Skywalker and the voice of the Joker until not that long ago. I feel deeply ashamed. Bogdan the Lurker asks, what about the dragon voice? And Becca Rose asks, Robert voice, please. Sarah asks, is it okay that I ask my questions in Dutch? I'm not good at English. That's fine. I can read Dutch just fine. I'll translate it into English for the rest of the people. And Deanna asks, do you have any interesting facts about the Dutch that I can tell my teacher? Interesting facts. That's a question I think is better served by Google. Lucy Greenberg asks, what part of the world do you live in? The Netherlands. Fen asks, ooh, please say something in your dragon voice in Dutch. That's going to be an interesting switch, actually. Nederlands is een stuk lastiger voor deze stem. Dutch is actually quite a bit harder for that voice because the consonants are harder. Anna Mannerholm says, mentions that it's possible to feel penetration through hypnosis. However, it still doesn't mean that you physically lost your virginity. I am talking about the physical act of it, not the perceived act of it. Aileen Kearns asks, how have you found your experience in hypnosis to influence your dominance in the bedroom? If that is an appropriate question to ask here. Well, funny story, my dominance and my hypnosis sort of developed separate of each other for quite a while before I combined them. So they didn't influence like each other until quite a bit ago. Luna asks, is it true that the Dutch call dark bread German bread? No, we call it whole wheat bread, if I translate that correctly. And there's also roggebrood, which is even more dark. Becca Rose asks, what's better, hypnosis or BDSM? Inclusive or? Yes. Jace Merrow asks, if given the opportunity, would you be interested in reprogramming someone like Bucky Barnes? Well, not in that way, no. Lucy Greenberg asks, have you been to the US? No, I answered this question 20 minutes ago as well. Alfred Jones asks, have you ever had someone approach you about hypnosis without knowing that you liked it as well? That's a very interesting question, actually. No. No, I don't think anyone has ever approached me about it without me being in a context where that is already known. Mixed Blood asks, how do you feel about hypnosis that's portrayed in the media? Less annoyed than how I feel about how BDSM is portrayed. 50 Shades of Grey. JC Moreau, about reprogramming someone. Now, I have some morals when it comes to hypnosis, and part of that is that I do not want to do lasting damage to someone. Inspiring positive change is good. Damaging someone that would take years to repair is not good. So, me inspiring people through health files to eat in a healthy manner is a good thing, but yeah. Crazy Claire asks, how old were you when you first hypnotized someone successfully? 16. Sarah asks, waarom ben je eigenlijk begonnen met hypnotiseren en YouTube? Why have you started hypnotizing and YouTube? Well, I started hypnosis because I was interested in it because of a science magazine. And I started doing the YouTube files because I got kind of annoyed by what was there. Interestingly, it's the same reason why I started writing erotic stories. I got annoyed by the offerings of erotic stories at the time. Furman asks, what are you doing as a job? Is it connected to hypnosis or psychology? Nope, I am a programmer. Bogdan the Lurker says, Moist gets a bad rap. Well, he does ruins everyone's mail. Aileen asks, do you have a submissive streak at all? No, I do not. Mixed Blood mentions that he saw a video about the trope of mind control in media, and there's different types of hypnosis, of course, and anything that changes people has the media and things interested. Carly Ray asks, is it possible to do long-term harm with hypnosis? Well, yeah, but long-term harm would mean that it becomes conditioning, not just hypnosis. You can do harm with anything, even good intentions, as long as something happens. Becca Rose says, tell a joke. How many psychiatrists do you need to change a light bulb? One, but the light bulb has to want to change. Luna asks, what programming language would you recommend learning? Probably Python or JavaScript or, yeah. Sparkly Amber asks, with your website, YouTube, Discord, etc. taking up so much of your time, do you ever worry that doing hypnosis may start to feel like a chore and lessen your enjoyment of it? Yes, I do worry about this. And I avoid this by limiting myself in certain ways. So I try to make files ahead so that I'm not pressured to make a file shortly before it comes out. And that means that the time I spend is by choice rather than like forced. Lil Oreo asks, have you ever had a submissive attempt to dominate you? Yes, I had. In fact, there was a submissive once that had a bet with someone that they could dominate me, or a switch, I should say. It turns out that she was a natural hypnosis subject. Fun. Deanna asks, have you ever played World of Warcraft or anything by the Blizzard Company? Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Diablo 1, 2, and 3. I have not played any of the card games or the other one. Fen asks, do you have any words in Dutch that you find inherently unpleasant, sort of like moist in English for a lot of people? Well, some words that mean unpleasant things are generally unpleasant to say. Alfred Jones asks, how long have you been programming and how long did it take you to get good at it? Well, that is not easy to answer. I was programming on a very old Sinclair ZX81 at one point, or a ZX Spectrum. Alfred F. Jones asks, what D&D class would you say you are a part of? Well, obviously I am the DM right now. Miriam Nicholson asks, what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were young? I reasonably wanted to do something with computers, but I've also considered psychiatry. Lil Oreo asks, if you were to go on a week-long cruise, what are the 5 things that would be in your suitcase, excluding clothes? Well, assuming that like wallet and passports are not a required part of those 5 things. Mobile phone, not turned on, but for emergencies. 5 things. Maybe pen, notebook, deck of cards, sunglasses. Sarah asks, Is YouTube your job, or do you only do it as a hobby? No, I work full-time as a programmer. Lucy Egan asks, have you ever gotten turned on while programming? No. Programming is a very logic thing. So generally, it doesn't affect me emotionally. Sparkly Ember asks, is somnambulism to do with how fast or deep someone goes into trance, or a mixture of the two? Neither. I would say that somnambulism more has to do with how easily they absorb suggestions. Alfred F. Jones asks, what kept you going when life got rough? Well, when it was rough, I didn't really think about what kept me going. I just did things. Although I have almost always created things. Writing, music, poetry, stories, now with hypnosis. I've always been busy with creating. Programming I count as creating as well. Jana Calder asks, which Dutch dialects do you find the most annoying to hear? I'm not actually sure. I can understand most of them. Lynn's Licorice asks, I've been wondering this for a while. If you hypnotize someone and told them to drop maybe 3 or 4 times and suddenly told them to wake, would it work? Well, yes. It might disorient them a bit, but if you told them to wake, they would probably try to wake up. Elskill asks, do you celebrate any interesting holidays in the Netherlands? King's Day, I think, is the only unique holiday we have. Aileen asks, do you find web development to be rewarding? Yeah. I don't really care if it's software or web. I've done both. And the only nice thing about web development is that it's slightly more, it's slightly faster in the feedback cycle. Python asks, was hypnosis always a casual topic of conversation for you, or was it difficult to talk about with peers when you began? I felt a bit uncomfortable about it, but nowadays I'm more casual about it. Luna asks, what is your opinion on financial domination? It's a tricky one because financial domination is very easily abused. I had a very long discussion with a few people who have it as a fetish and discussed with them how the balance would work, how it would feel for them to be financially dominated and what they get out of it. If there is a balance, then it's okay. But if it's just being abused, then it's not okay. Mixed Blood asks, which ones do you prefer, the comedic hypnosis or the evil brainwashing? Probably the evil brainwashing. Becca Rose asks, can you poke your tongue out? No. Miriam asks, what do you like to do in your free time? Chatting, movies, gaming, reading stuff, educating myself randomly. Sarah asks, is it where you live also that warm? Yep. Roses are red, violets are blue. This poem may make you feel déjà vu. Bogdan the Lurker asks, what is the weirdest movie you've ever seen? Weirdest. A Scanner Darkly. No. Paprika. I think Paprika is the weirdest movie I've ever seen. And I mean, so my constraint for this is a movie that isn't actually nonsensical. It has to be a movie where the weirdness is a logical part of the story. And with that, I think Paprika is one of the weirder movies. Flights of Whimsy asks, TARDIS or Heart of Gold? Heart of Gold. Even though the TARDIS is awesome, the Heart of Gold has Marvin. I approve of both of them, by the way. And for those that were a bit confused by the snap, wake. Deanna asks, what is your favorite Disney movie? I'm still reasonably in favor of The Incredibles, although I read an interesting article about The Incredibles that both Incredibles movie have a very odd theme against technology. That they imply that technology is not good. And that's kind of a weird message to bring from a CGI movie. Carla Ray asks, speaking of weird movies, have you seen an old movie called Altered States? I have not. I have seen a very cool movie called The Man from Earth, which was a very interesting movie. Elskill asks, what is your favorite genre? In what? Movies, books, games? Alfred F. Jones asks, if you found yourself in Portal, would you be afraid? Maybe. I would stay very, very, very far away from GLaDOS, Chell, or... what's the bad guy from Portal 2 again? I am not a moron. I'm super astute. Oh, this is going to bug me. Oh, what was the course name? Wheatley! Wheatley, of course. Oh, I feel so bad for not knowing this. Lil Oreo asks, what is your favorite way to cuddle someone into trance? With caresses. Luna asks, what is your favorite type of conditioning? Physical. 5 minutes, by the way. And Fen asks, you call yourself a Portal fan? No, I think it'd be more of a turret. Crazy Claire asks, are you in favor more towards the Monty Python movies or the TV show? Why would you have to choose? I think like both the TV show and the movies serve different purposes. Anna Belichick asks, excluding live streams, what is your longest audio? For patrons, it is total conditioning. For non-patrons, it's total relaxation. Diana asks, what is your favorite horror movie? I think the last one that impressed me was The Cabin in the Woods. Ooh, no. There's one that I saw on Netflix about people standing in a room on red markers. The Game, no. Bogdan the Lurker asks, weird thoughts, but hypnosis by tarot cards would be a good idea for a file. Maybe. It's actually quite interesting that tarot cards were originally game cards. Go asks, why does it take a while for me to be go into trance? Am I doing something wrong here, or is it normal? It's completely normal. People need different times to get into trance. Michael Chelwa asks for a shout out, although I doubt he's my biggest fan because, well, he would know that I normally don't do shout outs. And Circle is indeed the name of the horror movie. It was a very interesting movie. Fan asks, what was dinner? Pasta with cream and mushrooms. Luna asks, what is your opinion on YouTube for allowing real brainwashing files to be uploaded, but not allowing way gentler files? I don't think I have a problem right now. As long as I don't upload any erotic files, it's completely okay. Rian asks, what do you think about the heat in the Netherlands? It's interesting if you actually look up the heat maps of the world over the last few years on average compared to, let's say, 50 years ago. I would advise everyone to do so. Sparkly Amber asks, do Dutch buildings tend to have air conditioning or not in light of recent heat waves? Offices often yes, houses no. Sarah asks, is it an unwritten rule that you can't chat during hypnosis? Well, no, I explicitly ask for it because it can interrupt people who are trying to go into trance. All right. Now it is time for good things to come to an end. Thank you all for being here, and thank you again, both my fans and my patrons, for your continued support. And it's amazing to see that we're already over 80,000 subscribers. We'll probably get to 100,000 before the end of the year. We'll see. And I might have a small surprise for you for the next live. All right. Thank you all. This was Nimja Live. Wake.